The popular narrative among Federal Reserve policymakers these days is that policy is well-positioned to adjust to any upside or downside risks ahead. However, it might be more accurate to say that policy is stuck in position. With an abundance of unknowns swirling through the economy and the halls of Washington, the only gear the central bank really can be in these days is neutral as it begins what could be a long wait for certainty on what's actually ahead. In recent weeks, we've heard not only enthusiasm, particularly from banks, about possible shifts in tax and regulatory policies, but also widespread apprehension about future trade and immigration policy, Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic said in a blog post. These cross-currents inject still more complexity into policymaking. Bostic's comments came during an active week for what is known on Wall Street as Fed speak, or the chatter that happens between policy meetings from Chair Jerome Powell, central bank governors and regional presidents. Officials who have spoken frequently described policy as well-positioned. The language is now a staple of post-meeting statements. But increasingly, they are expressing caution about the volatility coming from President Donald Trump's aggressive trade and economic agenda, as well as other factors that could influence policy. Uncertainty is an increasingly common theme. In fact, Bostic titled his Thursday blog post, "Uncertainty Calls for Caution, Humility in Policymaking." A day earlier, the rate-setting Federal Open Market Committee released minutes from the January 28-29 meeting, with a dozen references to the uncertain climate in the document. The minutes specifically cited elevated uncertainty regarding the scope, timing, and potential economic effects of possible changes to trade, immigration, fiscal, and regulatory policies. Uncertainty factors into the Fed's decision-making in two ways: the impact that it has on the employment picture, which has been relatively stable, and inflation, which has been easing but could rise again as consumers and business leaders get spooked about the impact tariffs could have on prices.